Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Romnick Jibuis and I am currently studying at the University of Mindanao, Digas College. And now, I'm going to discuss about the the criminal justice system. But before anything else, I'm going to explain first the passage of this discussion to have a guide. So, first I'm going to discuss or define what is the criminal justice system, followed by the components and its functions of the Philippine criminal justice system. Then, the among all components, if what is the most important among the five pillars. Then, lastly, what is the importance of comparing criminal justice system? So, this. So, what is criminal justice system? A criminal justice system is a sum total of instrumentation in which the society uses for the prevention and control of crime and delinquency. So, here in the Philippines, the components of our criminal justice system, it is composed of five pillars, namely the law enforcement, the prosecution, the court, the corrections, and the community pillar. And now we're going to discuss its functions. So in Philippine criminal justice system, the function of the law enforcement is it's played a very significant role because it is the only member of the government that act in an organized manner to enforce the law, deterring, rehabilitating, discovering, punishing a person who violates rules and norms governing in a society. So next is the prosecution. There are three tasks that assigned for the prosecution. First is to investigate crime. The prosecutors have the right or have the power to investigate the crime if the apprehension is right or not. So second is to decide whether or not to instigate a legal proceeding. So the prosecutor has the power also to stop or to have a legal proceeding if the prosecutor found a probable cause in a certain cases. And lastly, to appear in court for these specific purposes. So the third components of Philippine criminal justice system is the court. The court. So the functions of the court is to adjudicate legal disputes between parties. The court will listen or the statement of every parties if who is telling the truth or not, and carry at the administrations of justice in accordance with the rule of law. So the fourth component is the corruption pillar. So the function of correction pillars is only to separate criminals from a society in which they would operate, and as part of their duties, they provide also a housing and many programs for the offenders. And lastly, the community pillars. The community pillars has a different functions because, excuse me, it is only the element that mobilize and energize to help the authorities and effectively addressing the law, orders, concerns of the citizenry. So our next discussion is talk about the what is the most important components among these five pillars, or the most important components of the Philippine criminal justice system. For me, the most important components of the Philippine criminal justice system is the law enforcement. Why? Because there is no criminal proceeding without law enforcement or without a law enforcers. We all know that the composition of our criminal justice system is well organized based on their duties and functions. But only the law enforcement pillar played a very significant role, in among other pillars, because since they are the since they are the law enforcers, the frontliners, and they have the duties and responsibilities to maintain the peace and order in the society or the community. And also, the successful of criminal proceeding is depending on their expertise in various aspects like investigation, proper apprehension, surveillance, proper collections of evidence, and many more, which is more complicated and more dangerous. So that is why I could say that the law enforcement is the most important components of the Philippine criminal justice system. And lastly, we talk about the importance of comparing the criminal justice system. So why do we need to compare a criminal justice system into the another criminal justice system? So the reason is that to have an insight, just to have a factual idea, a factual informations about all criminal justice system, about the related issues, important concerns. So important concerns, that's so that we can use that for the what do you call of this, for the successful criminal proceeding, and also to know the similarities and differences of between two or more nations about their criminal proceeding in their criminal justice system. Because in that sense, we can suggest for the improvement, we can suggest for the development, we can suggest for the revisions of our own criminal justice system to have a most effective, to have a equal, unprejudiced criminal proceeding for all. Because the comparing of criminal justice system is not a limit in the sense of if who has the best criminal justice system structure, but it is the information giving to us about especially the issues, the related cases, strategic criminal proceeding, and many more, so that we can use that as a basis in a present and a future purposes. And in conclusion, our government has the duties to oversee of what is right and what is good for everyone, and that is proportionate. And that is why our government implement a laws, regulations for the protections or to control or limit the human activities which is harmful, to protect and preserve all living organisms. So in order to sensationalize that essence, the government established a machinery to deal with crimes and criminality, and that is the criminal justice system. That would be all, and thank you. Good evening once again.